You're watching ABC7 News at 4, starting with First Alert Weather.
And good afternoon on this Monday afternoon. I hope you enjoyed the weekend weather. A nice cool spell and cool this morning too. Low temperatures down to the 50s. The story is though, we're going to see some warmer temperatures come back into play. Tonight not as cool, but pretty calm conditions out there on the waters. Lots of sunshine around as high pressure is the dominating influencing factor right now in our weather, and that usually means fair skies, and that's what we're seeing. We do have another frontal boundary on the way, but it won't be here for a while. The Titan radar picture not depicting any rainfall around. As far as the satellite and radar imagery goes for the future, high pressure dominates as we see that front moving through. It looks like on Friday and Saturday, bringing with it a good chance for showers and even a few thunderstorms. Enhanced satellite imagery showing clear skies across the entire southeast United States, and that is a direct result of that large area of high pressure which continues to dominate our weather right now. There's a storm system gathering now over the central plain states, which will bring some changes our way for the weekend. Right now, we're expecting lows to be a little bit warmer, but still pleasant out there. The humidity won't be high tomorrow either, so that'll be okay. Temperatures will warm, though, above average for our highs tomorrow, expecting them to be into the mid-80s, right around 85 for a high. 83 right now, but look at that humidity, nice, 53%. Winds out of the west and north-northwest at 10 miles an hour, and the pressure way up there, 30.06. Statewide temperatures all in the 80s right now. Orlando at 84 and 81 in Miami and 81 as well in Key West. 83 degrees in Pensacola. As far as temperatures go across the area, we have a 79 in Cortez. The Gulf water temperature, that's a key factor there. It's cool now because of the last couple of nights, down to 79 below the threshold of hurricane development. Now, hurricanes can still move through that kind of water, but when it gets this cool, we won't see any kind of problems in terms of storms developing or rapidly developing. Arcadia now 81, 82 in Wauchula. More on our forecast coming up in just a few minutes. We'll talk about Oscar, a hurricane in the Atlantic, coming up in a few minutes. Jacqueline Scott.
Bob, thank you. Now to our top story. The alleged gunman of Saturday's synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh appearing in court today. He's facing more than 20 counts that carry the death penalty.
He's accused of opening fire inside the Tree of Life synagogue on Saturday morning while worshipers were inside, killing 11 people. Omar Jimenez is in Pittsburgh with more on today's preliminary hearing.
My office charged Robert Bowers with federal murder and assault charges relative to the horrific acts of violence he committed at the Tree of Life synagogue.
Handcuffed and in a wheelchair, the man accused of gunning down members of a synagogue made his first court appearance in Pittsburgh Monday. The alleged gunman, Robert Bowers, was injured in a firefight with police at the Tree of Life synagogue Saturday and was released from the hospital shortly before appearing in court. The suspect faces 29 federal charges in the shooting death of 11 people. He was initially represented by public defenders.
And we will have the opportunity to present evidence demonstrating that Robert Bowers murdered 11 people who were exercising their religious beliefs, and that he shot or injured 6 others, including 4 of whom were police officers responding to the shooting.
One of the rabbis leading his congregation at the synagogue Saturday morning told CNN about the moment he realized he heard gunfire and how he tried to save as many of his members as he could.
Quickly tried to usher them up to the front, out some doors in the front, towards exits, or towards a closet, someplace that they could hide, someplace safe.
Despite the hateful act, he insists the synagogue will reopen, stronger than ever.
Tree of Life has been in Pittsburgh for 154 years. We're not going anywhere. I will not let hate close down my building.
The Jewish Federation of Sarasota Manatee is moving tonight's vigil for victims of the shooting after an overwhelming response. The Vigil for Tree of Life, a community in solidarity, will now be held at 7 p.m. at the Sarasota County Fairgrounds. Gates will open at 6 p.m. for the outdoor event. There will be a limited number of chairs, and you're encouraged to bring your own folding chairs or blankets. The Jewish Federation says there will be enhanced security at the event, so make sure to take some extra time to enter the event. Local Jewish community leaders now say it is not the time to sit back and stay quiet. They say we also have major anti-Semitism problems here on the Suncoast. ABC7's Erica Jackson joins us now live from Temple Emmanuel to share some of their experiences. Erica?
Good evening. Leaders with the Temple Emmanuel Church tell me that they expect this parking lot to be full on Friday night for their weekly services. And they'd say that's exactly what the Jewish community needs right now is unity. Jewish leaders in Sarasota and Manatee counties say they've seen acts of violence, discrimination, prejudice, and hatred, all stemming from anti-Semitism. They tell me they've received hate mail. Some were victims of vandalism. Others say the hate is making its way into schools, targeting young worshipers. Coming up tonight on ABC7 News at 5:30, we'll share how they plan to tackle anti-Semitism and plan to improve the future for those upcoming generations. Reporting live in Sarasota, Erica Jackson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Erica, thank you. Jacqueline joins us now with the latest on the investigation into a deadly plane crash in Indonesia.
Scott, rescuers are still searching the sea near Jakarta after a passenger plane crashed minutes after takeoff today. Lion Air flight JT610 was on a short flight when it disappeared from radar. That plane was carrying 189 people, including a child and 2 infants. Debris, including life vests and a cell phone, have been found in the Java Sea about 30 miles northeast of Jakarta.
The personal items of passengers rising to the surface of the relatively shallow waters, just 35 meters or 114 feet deep. Hundreds of rescuers are out there on boats and in helicopters. There are divers in the water trying to find the wreckage of the aircraft, the actual fuselage, and the flight data recorders, because those may be the only thing that can provide clues as to why this new aircraft went down.
Authorities have recovered 6 bodies from the water. The agency that oversees air traffic navigation said the flight made a request to air traffic control to return to base about 12 miles out from takeoff, but did not indicate that there was any emergency. The FBI says another suspicious package, possibly sent by a serial mail bomb suspect, has surfaced. This comes the same day Cesar Sayoc, charged with sending explosive devices across the country, makes his first appearance in federal court. The FBI confirms a similar package was addressed to CNN's Atlanta office. The nationwide manhunt started when the first pipe bomb was found in the mailbox of Democratic philanthropist George Soros in suburban New York last Monday.
I have fear right now about the rising levels of hate being measured across the board in this country.
Sayoc filled his social media pages with anti-Democrat messages and posted what appears to be videos of himself at Trump rallies. Sayoc is expected to be transferred to the Southern District of New York, where many of those explosive devices ended up and where he will be prosecuted. Well, let's send it back to Scott, who has more on an amendment on the November ballot and how it could change voting rights for convicted felons. Scott?
Jacqueline, Amendment 4 would automatically restore the right to vote for people who were convicted of felonies and who have completed their sentences, paid restitution, and fulfilled parole or probation requirements. Murderers and sex offenders would be excluded. But backers of the amendment estimate that about 1.4 million Floridians would have their voting rights restored if the required 60% of voters approve the proposal. Supporters feel people should get their rights back as soon as their debt to society has been paid.
What you have in Florida is a rapidly expanding population of people who have no voice in their government. And if this amendment were to pass, be approved by Florida voters, the vast majority of people who are completing their sentences would routinely regain their voting eligibility.
The November vote on Amendment 4 comes as Governor Rick Scott and the Florida cabinet, which control voter rights restoration, fight a federal judge's ruling that says the state system is unconstitutional. Experts are predicting a higher than usual turnout for a midterm election. Researchers have found for years that most younger voters are overwhelmingly Democrat, but a political science professor from the University of South Florida says out of 50 students in a class, about half of hers were Democrats, the other half were Republicans. Coming up, parents in Venice are concerned with their kids' safety and the speed limits surrounding a Venice Catholic school. Plus, an Alabama woman's Halloween fun turned into a nightmare when she couldn't get part of her costume off. And then, harrowing video out of Texas shows the moments a school bus gets caught in swift-moving floodwaters.
Where to go and what to do in Muscle Shoals in Florence, Alabama. Personalized just for you. Find your sweet spots at alabama.travel/sweetspot.
Under the cabinets.
Inside the microwave.
Along the front walk.
In the glove compartment.
Above my painting.
My wife said something about tracks.
Need a light bulb? No matter what LED or other bulb you're looking for, you'll find it at Batteries Plus Bulbs.
The one inside the clothes dryer.
Oh, you use the clothes dryer.
Visit batteriesplus.com for a store near you.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
This Southern weekend, we're relaxing on the river in the Georgia Lowcountry. So come join the adventure as we explore Savannah, Georgia on the next Southern Weekend.
Sunday at 5 on ABC7. ABC7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station.
Parents of students at a Venice private school are fighting to lower the nearby speed limit. The limit was 45 miles an hour, and while Sarasota County lowered it over the summer slightly, parents say speeding is still a problem. ABC7's Rebecca Fernandez joins us now live from the school with details on what was done about it and what parents are worried about now. Rebecca?
Scott, well, those yellow school zone signs are new here on Center Road. They're warning drivers that the speed limit is now 35 miles per hour in front of Venice Christian School. But some parents are still very concerned about this because that lower speed limit only covers half a block and the rest of the street remains at 45 miles per hour. They say they don't understand why the speed limit near a school and in an area with so much traffic remains so high. However, others say that reducing the speed by 10 miles per hour and the installation of those signs is already a huge step in the right direction. So tonight at 6, you'll get to hear some of these concerns, plus what the principal of the school has to say about all this. For now, live in Venice, Rebecca Fernandez, ABC7, your Suncoast News. Back to you guys.
All right, Rebecca, thank you so much. Let's get back to Jacqueline now, who's in the newsroom with what's trending today.
Scott, we all know when you see a porcupine, it's best not to mess with it, but this dog learned the hard way after he was brought to the Humane Society in Rochester, New York, with a face full of porcupine quills. Vets were able to safely remove the quills and had the pup feeling better in no time. Oh, look at him. That organization later reported the former prickly pup was adopted. So glad to hear. Well, a school bus driver who ignored warnings and drove into floodwaters in Texas has been arrested. Dashcam video captured the driver approaching the flooded area back in mid-October and ignored warning signs. Moments later, that driver tries to cross rushing floodwaters and then gets swept away. Police ended up rescuing the driver and one student who was on board that bus. Thankfully, no one was injured. Police posted the video on social media, adding these words of caution. Turn around, don't drown is not just a catchy phrase, but potentially a life-saving reminder. Well, an Alabama woman had transformed into a zombie, but at the end of the day, she's the one who got quite the scare. It cost Anna $3 to finish her transformation into the undead for her Halloween costume, but the expense grew when her fake teeth wouldn't come out. You can see them right there. Those fake teeth were glued directly to her real teeth. However, that adhesive was not temporary.
Remove them then because it was like
they was just tight. I mean, it went on, and I mean, I continuously tried to get them out, and after it was over with, I mean, I've tried up to 2 o'clock this morning, and it's like they wouldn't budge. I mean, I even took a pair of wire cutters and cut the tips of those 2 off.
Oh my goodness. 2 was in excruciating pain and found an emergency dentist who was able to help. She says she did learn a valuable lesson though, and hopes she can help save others from doing the same thing. That just hurts my teeth thinking about it and looking at it. Well, let's send it back to Scott in the studio with a look at today's consumer news. Scott.
All right, thank you so much, Jacqueline. It looks like Twitter does not like the like button. The social network may get rid of the heart-shaped button. The CEO says a small redesign would be a way to improve debate on the platform. Twitter posted nothing is finalized since the redesign is in its early stages. The heart-shaped button has only been around for a few years. It replaced the star-shaped favorite button from about 3 years ago. A trial beginning today in Denver could have far-reaching effects on the medical marijuana industry. A couple claims a cannabis business near their southern Colorado property is driving its value down because of the stench. An attorney for the business plans to argue its value has not been damaged because, according to tax valuations, it's actually increasing in value. Let's get back to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan now with our first alert forecast.
Scott, our value was increasing over the weekend as a result of beautiful weather out there. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got out there and actually gave yourself a little treat because it was a nice low humidity, temperatures below average. They're going back above average. It's going to stay rather dry, though. It'll be comfortable tomorrow, despite the fact temperatures will go to near average or slightly above it looks like in the afternoon. But pretty calm conditions out there on the waters under lots of sunshine here at the Casey Key Beach Cam. Will warm up this week. Another cold front, though, is due to arrive on Friday. So we're in this progressive autumnal pattern now where we're going to see cold fronts coming down every few days or so. And then Hurricane Oscar is going to stay out in the Atlantic. That's right, it is a hurricane. It developed over the weekend, and it's not going to have any impact on any land right now. High pressure is dominating the weather now over the southeast United States. This high pressure ridge is going to stay there, too. It's going to shift a little bit off toward the east over the upcoming days. That will give us more of a southeasterly wind, and that will start to bring the humidity value back up. On Wednesday, you'll start to notice a little bit muggier conditions on, again, looks like Halloween. Now, as far as the water vapor content goes, look at all the dry air in place covering the entire Gulf of Mexico and the southeast United States. With that in place, there's no chance and no threat of any rainfall. And it's going to stay dry, it looks like, for Halloween as well. Well, tomorrow's low temperatures won't be in the 50s. They'll be in the 60s. It'll be a little bit warmer than we've seen, but that's pretty close to average right there. And we'll look for highs tomorrow to top out into the mid-80s for the most part up and down the coast. Mid-80s are pretty typical for this time of year as well. So you don't see any 90s on there, and that's a good sign. We'll also be into the low to mid-60s on Wednesday morning, and then we'll start to warm up back, and humidity will start to come back up as well on into Wednesday. Well, the wind forecast is all important in determining temperature. It's been out of the north and northwest as of late, but you'll start to see that shift more to an easterly direction. That begins tomorrow, and especially on Wednesday, it starts to become more east to southeast, and that'll warm us up. Highs will be around 86 degrees, and we could see, it looks like a little higher humidity around, but the good news is no rain for the trick-or-treaters out there, and the hourly planner for tomorrow looks good. We'll start off in the mid-60s. We'll warm up into the mid-80s by the afternoon. Lots of sunshine in the forecast as that high-pressure ridge remains with us. A little bit of a weak, really it's a dry front that's moving through again tomorrow, and that will keep us sunny at least. A lot of dry air in place. As I said, it's not going to really cool us down all that much, and then we'll look for no real threat of any rainfall until we get to Friday. Well, here it is, Oscar out there in the Atlantic, way out there in the Atlantic. It looks like it's going to stick around through November, so we'll have a November storm out there in the Atlantic. Not a big problem to any land areas. I mentioned top winds now at 85 miles an hour. It's expected to get up to Category 2 status as it makes its way off to the northwest and then all to the northeast as a cold front picks it up and carries it off into the open waters of the Atlantic. Well, 83 right now are current conditions, and the winds are out of the northwest at 10 miles an hour. As far as boaters go, it looks to be a northeast breeze tomorrow. Seas will be running 2 feet with a light chop out there on the bays and inland waters. The extended forecast then calling for good weather, as I mentioned, a little bit warmer, a little higher humidity here, and then a 70% chance for showers and a few isolated thunderstorms possible on Friday. As a result of a cold front moving through, it'll be slow mover too. We'll have a 40% chance for morning storms on Saturday and then clearing and turning cooler again for a low of 57 on Sunday morning. Look forward to that. Well, be sure to download our ABC7 weather app. It's free. Just go to your app store, do a search for WWSB ABC7 First Alert Weather, and you'll find it. And you'll be actually able to take a look at that and keep an eye on all these cold fronts coming down and the potential for severe weather during this El Nino winter that we are expected to have, which typically brings rough storms our way during those months.
Well, speaking of rough storms, the remnants of Hurricane Willa became a nor'easter that brought drenching rain, localized flooding, above normal tides, and damaging winds to New Jersey and other areas over the weekend. 35,000 people were without power at the height of the storm on Saturday. Downed trees and flooding caused travel chaos. Many coastal towns were enduring heavy flooding. The coastline of the Mid-Atlantic and New England endured the worst of this storm as strong winds led to tree damage in many communities. They had wind gusts up to 67 miles an hour in some areas.
While the storm brought soaking rain to most of the Northeast, a wintry mix unfolded over the mountains of upstate New York and New England. Snow totaled 5.5 inches near Randolph, New Hampshire, and 4 inches near Madison, New Hampshire as well. So snow is back in parts of upstate New York.
Probably a lot more to come, too, this winter. Thank you, Bob. Still to come, with the help of hundreds of thousands of social media users, the 10-day hunt for a mystery couple behind a photo-perfect viral engagement is now over.
I'm Linda Carson from Suncoast View. Coming up Tuesday morning live at 9, zombies, serial killers, and madmen are not just a Halloween movie. This one is a college course. We'll meet the professor who teaches the psychology behind the zombie stories, like The Walking Dead, that scare us. And get ready to party. We'll tell you where the action is, and we'll show you the latest decorating trends. Julie DeFonce is in the kitchen, and that's all coming up Tuesday morning live at 9.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hot, hot. It's the Ghetto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gatto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gatto location near you or visit Gatto.com.
Gatto's got it.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Pets bring so much joy to our lives. They're loyal, they're protective, and smart. Yet as smart as our pets might be, they can't advocate for themselves, especially in the event of a natural disaster. During Hurricane Harvey, many families were separated from their pets. That's why it's important your pet is part of your family's disaster preparedness plan. Talk to your veterinarian and visit banfieldfoundation.org/disaster. Don't save it for a rainy day.
Your last chance for 2018 Honda Accords on sale is now during our model year-end sale. Drive new Accords for just $249 a month. Get an Accord, the North American Car of the Year, for less than the competition. With more standard features than Camry, Honda Sensing, multi-angle camera, turbocharged engine, and more. New Accords, just $249 a month. Your last chance for Accords, all on sale this week at your local Honda dealer.
ABC7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station.
The couple seen in the middle of a wedding proposal atop a Yosemite overlook has finally been found. On October 17th, photographer Matthew Dipple shared a stunning image that captured what appeared to be a proposal taking place at Taft Point in Yosemite National Park. However, he had no idea who the couple was. That's when he turned to social media to try to track them down. The couple became the subject of an internet hunt after the photo of the two went viral. To date, Dipple's initial image and message have been retweeted more than 165,000 times and shared on Facebook nearly 20,000 times. The couple spotted the photo on Instagram page of a California TV station. Let's get back to Jacqueline in the newsroom now with a look at some of the other stories we're working on tonight.
Scott, a Sarasota woman tells us she grew up worshiping inside the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. Coming up tonight at 5, we'll hear how she's reacting to that mass shooting over the weekend. And at 6, we'll be live at the Vigil in Sarasota as attendees begin to pay their respect to the victims who lost their lives in that shooting. And at 7, Republican James Buchanan and Democrat Tony Mowry will be at the Trapezoid for a House District 74 debate and a one-on-one interview with independent candidate Robert Kaplan. Let's send it back to Bob for a look at your final forecast this hour.
And it has been beautiful, hasn't it, folks? Enjoying this nice weather. Well, things are going to warm up a little bit by midweek, but still will be dry out there. For your walk this evening, mostly fair, mild sunset coming at 6:49. And we'll have generally sunny skies. Casey Key Beach Cam showing pretty calm conditions out there in the waters, too. Good boating weather. Red tide still back in patches. We're getting folks talking about that on social media, but all in all, in some areas it's not too bad out there. As far as it goes, we're going to see clear skies tonight, dry conditions all across the southeast, and that's a result of a large area of high pressure, which will continue to dominate our weather. We'll have more on Hurricane Oscar, which is out in the Atlantic, coming up at 5. Scott?
Bob, thank you. Thank you for joining us on ABC7 News at 4. We'll see you again at 5 o'clock.